Hi, Dr. David here, author of Lust, Men, and Meth and Sex Under the Influence. And today I'd like to talk about a very serious topic, and that is what we're seeing as an increase of sexual assault under the influence of a drug very common in the chemsex scene, GHB, sometimes abbreviated GHGBL, and its more acute form. GHB stands for gonyl hydroxybutyrate. This is a dissociative, hypnotic, sort of sedative drug that creates sort of disconnect from feelings. Dissociative simply means disconnecting from oneself, someone's consciousness sometimes. People often use it as a nice alternative, a kind of a complement to the very edgy intensity of a meth high, and the two are often used together. The problem with GHB is that it is a very close cousin of the drug Rohypnol. Rohypnol may be familiar to many of you as the date rape drug. And like Rohypnol, GHB can be in a liquid form, and it can be easily slipped into a drink. It can be slipped into a so-called booty bump, where people are injected up their rectum, which is a very fast way to get inebriated. So sometimes people don't know what they're taking. Sometimes they do. In any case, very often people are susceptible to sexual assault while under the influence of GHB. There was a study at the University of Cambridge in England, along with Terence Higgins Trust, a very well-regarded foundation, that did a study of 5,000 GHB users in the UK. About only half of whom were gay. So GHB is not just a gay thing. So of those users, almost a quarter had experienced sexual assault themselves, and many more knew someone very close to them who had been assaulted sexually while under the influence of GHB. This is something we need to talk about. In my experience, when I work with clients who have had this happen to them, and there are a number of them, there's a lot of shame and all the classic self-talk that we see with any sexual assault. You know, how could I be so stupid? I blame myself. I put myself in that position. I was taking drugs. I should have known better. I'm a guy. How could this happen to me? And so on. And so people go silent and live in their shame with this. This is nothing to be ashamed about. This is sexual assault. And this is something that we have to tell our brothers and sisters about, because it's happening on an epidemic level. And not only sometimes does this happen in the context of someone's home, it can happen in a bathhouse, it can happen in a sex club, it can happen in anywhere. And oftentimes it's not just one person doing that sexual assault, it's multiple people. And to add insult to injury, there's often these events are live streamed over Facebook or some other social media. So this is a horrendous thing that we're seeing. I've seen many clients who are traumatized by these experiences. And so I really want to raise awareness about this. And frankly, about GHB in general. GHB is, I think, often misunderstood. GHB in an overdose form called, dropping into the G hole. It's very easy to do because of the liquid nature of GHB. You can overdose without really knowing it, especially if you're trying to mix a little cocktail of G and some other drink in your bathhouse cubicle or in a dark dance floor, or anywhere, a sex club where there's darkness. You don't know what you're doing necessarily in terms of quantity and dose. So very often people can overdose, and it's very, very dangerous. You basically have respiratory failure. You stop breathing. So I think we need to do a better job educating people about GHB 911, about harm reduction, and how we can make this a safer way to party if you choose to party. So please, please, please be aware of G, be aware of the risk, be aware of what's happening in terms of sexual assault. If you know of someone that's been afflicted by this, please have them reach out for help. This is a traumatic experience that can really impact people's mental health on an ongoing basis. So there is help available. Trauma therapy does great things. It can work, but we have to engage the health providers first of all. I have a lot more about G in my other videos on TikTok under David Fawcett Chemsex Help, or in my books, Lust, Men, and Meth, or Sex Under the Influence. Please check out my website, david-fawcett.com. That's it for today. Talk soon, and more about this in coming weeks. Bye-bye.